Hello, my name is Samantha Hernandez, and for this assignment, we had to do a history student lecture, and I decided to do the Korean War that took place from 1950 to 1953 because I remember talking about it in chapter 26, and it was for like during the Cold War and how it reached Asia, and I felt like it'd be a good topic to go over. Okay, some background information that I wanted to talk about for the war is that Korea, like prior to this, Korea had been a part of like Japan's empire until like 1945. And the Allied powers in World War II, they wanted to remove like Japan's rule over Korea. That was like one of their main principal ideas that they were trying to do. And so after defeating Japan in World War II, the Soviets and the United States agreed to divide the country at the 38th parallel. Um, so the Soviets took over North Korea, and the United States took over south of Korea. They had planned to reunify Korea eventually, but two separate governments had evolved, like communism in North Korea, because the Soviets had they had taken over and they established a communist government. And then obviously South Korea was against communism because the US was there. And then because of that, there were tensions between the two sides and there was violence coming over. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the beginning of the war. So after World War II, the Korean War began on June 25th in 1950 during the Cold War. And the Cold War was like these tensions between the Soviet Union and the US, and it just kept getting like a little bit violent, and this was definitely like a part of it, and it reached all the way to Asia. So this war, it took place between the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and this was in North Korea, and the Republic of Korea in South Korea. So North Korea was supported by China and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union first supported North Korea, and then China got involved. But then South Korea was supported by the United States, and the United Nations also got involved. And with that one, the United States first got involved and sent troops, and then they went and talked to the United Nations to see if they could get more help against like North Korea. And so with the approval of Stalin, like with his support, with him backing them up, the North Korean troops under the leader Kim the Second Sung launched an attack on South Korea. And basically 75,000 soldiers poured in across the 38th parallel, which is where it was divided at. And the Truman administration acted. And by July, American troops were helping South Korea. Okay. With the continuation of the war, the United Nations Security Council, which I'm guessing is just like where they all talked about it, like all the nations that gathered after World War II, they had passed a resolution to get the help of nations to resist this invasion because they just didn't need the communism to spread. So the American troops, as far as they were concerned, obviously they were fighting against communism and stopping the spread of it. And they didn't like that was their main reasoning for being involved. Um, this invasion was a surprise to American officials, and they feared that it was the beginning of a communist campaign that would take over the world, and that's definitely not the best idea. Um, And because of that, they believed that it was their duty to intervene. They felt like they had no other option and that it was like part of their duty. And President Truman, who was president at the time of the United States, he had said that if the Soviets kept this up, they would take like one country after the other, especially if they succeeded in spreading communism in all of Korea. So this war was, again, as I said, just another part of the Cold War. And at first, the war was defensive, and it was to try to get the troops out of South Korea. But slowly that changed to offensive as they felt the need to free North Korea from communism. Okay, so some more events during the war. So at first, during June to like September of 1950, the North Korean troops, which were known as the Korean People's Army, KPA, they were pushing back South Korea towards the Pusan perimeter. And in this picture that I have, you can see like that it's all the way down there, and it's way past the 38th parallel, but that's where North Korea was trying to push South Koreans to go towards. But on September 14th, United Nations forces under U.S. General Douglas MacArthur, they fought and took over Incheon, which was a port outlet near Seoul, and this was known as the Incheon Landing or the Battle of Incheon, and you can see it like right over here in the map as well, and you can see that it's super close to like Seoul, and it's at the edge. And with this battle, it was a turning point and a decisive victory for the United Nations. They had successfully pushed themselves back up to the closer to the 38th parallel. And then 2 weeks later, South Korea was able to recapture the capital Seoul, which was South Korea's capital, and they were able to recapture it. So, as South Korean troops, also known as ROKA, the Republic of Korea Army, advanced across the 38th, they captured the North Korean capital Pyongyang in October 1950, and they kept getting closer to the Yalu River. And this Yalu River was at the edge, again, as you can see on the map. It is close to China. It's basically bordering it. So now Mao Zedong, the leader in communist China, was getting worried, and he was willing to step in on North Korea's side because they didn't want the United States to get involved into China. So then they pushed South Korea back across the 38th parallel. Okay, some more events during the war. So as China intervenes, they told the United States to stay away from the Yalu River border unless they wanted a full-on war. Obviously, as we know, the United States did not listen to China exactly. And in November till December of 1950, the Battle of Chosin River happened. This was when the United Nations were attacked by Chinese troops, and they had to retreat, and this marked the complete withdrawal of the United Nations troops in North Korea. So then from like December to January of 1951, Chinese troops, they retook Seoul. So they had crossed the 38th parallel. North Korea had crossed the 38th parallel. However, the United Nations fought back and pushed to the Han River Valley again. And on a map, you can see it's close to the 38th parallel and like close to Seoul. So there was a constant back and forth heavy fighting along the 38th parallel, and it was a lot of just South Korea and North Korea going over it and across it, and it was just a lot of battles. And I know that I'm like videoing it and my head is covering some of the slides, but I said everything that was written on there. Okay, some more events and the end of the war now. So then on the 11th of April 1951, President Truman dismissed General MacArthur, thinking that his independence and his actions amounted to insubordination. And this general, he was in charge of a lot of the wars prior to that, and he was involved a lot, but he obviously was thinking pretty independently, and President Truman dismissed him. So more fighting continued, but in July, President Truman were like beginning to have peace talks and like thinking about how to go about this. The negotiations were still being figured out, but both sides could see that the war had become a stalemate. Stalemate meaning that both sides have given up trying to unify Korea, and the fighting was barely getting either side anywhere. So lastly, we reached the Battle of Kumsong in 1953, and that was like 2 years after, 1951. But it was one of the last battles where the United Nations, North Korean, and Chinese forces were still a little bit unable to agree on prisoner reparation. Then that led to the end of the Korean War. And the adversaries, they all signed an armistice on July 27th of 1953. They agreed to draw a new boundary line near the 30th parallel and allowed the prisoners of war, POW, to stay where they wanted. This finally ended all the fighting in Korea, but still to this day it is left divided, and a lot of people know that North Korea is under a dictatorship, and South Korea is, I think it's just doing, fine, but it is still divided. Okay, now I'm gonna go over some facts about the war. The North Korean war, like the army, sorry, was well disciplined and it was prepared. It was prepared because of the help of the Soviet Union. They helped keep them in shape and everything. And during this war, there was also a very hot and dry summer, and American troops would have to drink water from like these rice fields, like this picture right here, and they would use human waste as fertilization. So a lot of soldiers could have contracted diseases, and that made the war a little bit even worse. And unlike a lot of wars, the Korean War did not get as much media attention in the US, unlike the Vietnam War and obviously like World War II. Some more facts about the war is that the Korean War had many casualties, like nearly 5 million people died, is what History.com said, and more than half of the casualties were civilians, which was a higher rate than World War II and the Vietnam War. And about 40,000 American soldiers had passed away, sadly, and about 10,000 of them suffered injuries or something from the war. 90% of the troops sent to go help South Korea were also American troops, and more than 40 countries of the United Nations, they helped by sending aid to the troops, and they sent troops as well and supplies to South Korea. And then the talk about a truce and peace went on for like most of the war, but it took till like 1953 for the armistice to be signed. Okay, now I just have a couple pictures of the Korean War. I felt like it would be pretty interesting to add that onto there. This first picture, you see like this young, probably Korean girl and this little baby, because a lot of civilians were affected during this war. And then you can just see in like some of these other ones, there's just a lot of soldiers. Some of them like seem like happy, like in this one at the bottom with these two soldiers, like they're obviously like doing fine, because I'm sure there were like some moments in the war where it was just like sitting around waiting for the other side to like attack and stuff like that. But it wasn't a pretty war at all. It had suffered a lot of casualties, and the 38th parallel was definitely super important throughout the war and obviously monumental. And there was just a lot of people affected, and I felt like these pictures really helped show a different side of it. And then lastly, I included my sources, and I did the Korean War on history.com. I used that link, and I used the Korean War on Britannica.com. And I also used our textbook, The Essential World History 9th edition by Duke Era, chapter 26. And then I found some Korean War pictures on Google Arts and Culture, and as well as just Google. But that was basically all that I researched on the Korean War. It was kind of long in the sense that the armistice should have been signed a little bit earlier. But it was really interesting, and it was really cool to see it all in depth. So, thank you.